Up on the brief this morning, just hours from now, 7 ministers designates will take turns to respond to messages or questions from senators during a screening exercise to evaluate their capacity to serve in the federal cabinet. The screening follows an earlier request in a letter to the Senate by the President to confirm the new ministerial nominees. Those to be screened include Mentawa Yewata, Mohamedou Dengiadi, Bianca Odumegu Juku, Jumoke Oduwele, Idi Mukhtar Maiha, Yusuf Atta, and Suwaibu Ahmed, whose portfolio were added for the first time in recent times as documentation by nominees have already commenced. There are parts of efforts to address the myriads of issues plaguing the northern region of the country, including insecurity, poverty, out-of-school children, power outages, among others, has made the governors of that region to come together to brainstorm with traditional rulers on the way forward. The meeting held in Kaduna State and presided by the chairman of the forum and governor of Gombe State, Inuayaya, and hosted by Governor Ubasani at the Sir Kashim Ibrahim Government House in Kaduna State. They examined the need for urgent action to be taken to address lingering insecurity, which has impacted negatively on the economy of the North.
Our unity and commitment to the prosperity of the people remains our greatest source of strength that will enable us to overcome these challenges.
We're not done with the issue of the North. President Bola Tinubu wants the speed up of repair works and restoration of power to the northern part of the country. The North has been thrown into a blackout following the vandalism of transmission lines, raising concerns among stakeholders in the region and beyond. But President Tinubu has directed the Minister of Power, Adelabu Adebayo, and relevant agencies to speed up the pace of work to restore electricity to all affected states in the North. And the minister had told journalists that what has been limiting or responsible for that and the need to decentralize the national grid.
The world is moving. This is the 21st century. And we believe that the most effective way of supplying uninterrupted, functional, stable, and reliable electricity to the northern part of Nigeria is through our distributed power model, whereby each of the northern states will have an embedded utility solar scale solar source. All the 20 states will be insulated and immune from each other. Once we have, and we have actually made progress in this, as we have interested contractors and financiers that are ready to install 100 megawatts each for each of the 20 northern states, which is scalable to 50 megawatts at first, then upgraded to 100 megawatts. We are working on establishing what is called a super grid, which is a backup or failover optional grid. If the national grid has a problem, there will be an alternative route through which power can be transmitted. That is what we are working on. Then lastly is the fact that the world has moved beyond having a centralized grid. Grid must be regionalized. We must have state grids so that each of the regionalized grid will be insulated from each other. A problem in a particular line will not affect the others. That is what we are working on. Until that is done, we believe that we'll keep managing what we have and reduce the frequent occurrence of the grid disturbance.
That sounds like a very brilliant idea, but let's see how it plays out eventually to help our power sector. In the meantime, the FCT Police Command says it has arrested a member of the House of Representatives, Mr. Alex Mascot Ikweche, over alleged assaults of a cab driver in the nation's capital, Abuja. The police authority said the lawmaker from Abia State is at the Maitama police station undergoing questioning after a driver of a ride-hailing service, Mr. Stephen Abuwasheya, reported the matter to the command. In a now viral video, Ikweche, who represents Aban North and South Federal Constituency in the green chambers on the platform of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, was allegedly seen slapping the boat driver after an apparent disagreement over payment for his delivery service. The command says the Commissioner of Police in the FCT, Olatunji Disu, has ordered a thorough investigation into that matter. Now, the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice John Soho, will appear before the pro-panel of the National Judicial Council, NJC, today over a judgment being churned out by his court in respect to cases from the Rivers political crisis. Justice Soho is expected to defend the court under his watch over some petitions brought before the NJC by lawyers, or some lawyers and litigants, mainly on the Rivers political disputes. The Chief Judge is to specifically explain why the Rivers cases are being heard in Abuja instead of the Port Harcourt division of the court. One of the lawyers in one of the matters, and Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Femi Falana, had last Friday written a letter to the Chief Judge querying why the cases emanating from Port Harcourt are being heard in Abuja instead of Port Harcourt division, where he claimed that the court has 5 judges on its bench. He drew the attention of the court to insinuations being peddled in some quarters that judges are being allegedly procured in Abuja. Although the issue was tabled before the court, and Justice Joyce Abdul Malik of Abuja Division here in one of the cases was asked to recuse herself for the Port Harcourt Division to take over. We understand Abdul Malik, in a ruling, refused to grant the request. Let's bring you more stories. Now, the national president of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian University, Mohammed Ibrahim, says its members and those of the non-academic staff union of educational and associated institutions embarked on the nationwide strike because they have been pushed to the wall. Speaking as guest on Channels Television, Mr. Ibrahim says both groups eventually decided to embark on the strike as a last resort after several meetings and attempts with federal government or government officials to resolve the challenges had hit the rocks. The groups commenced the indefinite nationwide strike within campuses of public universities on Monday to demand the immediate release of their 2022 foremen withheld salaries.
This is not a new issue. In July, precisely on the 17th, we had a national protest in Abuja. And thereafter, NLC took over the matter and mentioned before the president when they discussed the national minimum wage. It was at that meeting that the president gave a directive that 50% of the 4 months be paid, which is 2 months. And thereafter, we also got to have the approval of Mr. President. And 3 months down the line, this thing has remained elusive. We have had several discussions with the federal ministers of education, the senior minister and the junior minister, and assurances were made, have been given to our members, but the thing remained elusive. So for now, we have been pushed to the wall, and we have exhausted all avenues, including but not limited to asking our members to be patient. So strikes have already commenced. Our members have met in different branches, and going forward, all services in the bursary department, in registry, in works and maintenance, security, students' affairs have been put to a halt until when payments are made.
Let's move on to business now, where the International Finance Corporation and the Central Bank of Nigeria have signed an agreement to increase local currency financing to enable private businesses in Nigeria to grow and thrive. The partnership is expected to allow the IFC to manage currency risk and increase its investment in Naira across priority sectors of the economy. That includes agriculture, housing, infrastructure, energy, SMEs, among others. A statement by the CBN explains how the IFC aims to significantly scale up its financing of critical sectors in Nigeria to provide more than $1 billion in the coming years. On the international scene, Lebanon state media says Israel have launched a fresh attack or strike on the city of Tyre in Lebanon. The Israeli military had alerted residents of the southern city to evacuate, warning it would attack Hezbollah target there following an earlier raid that killed 7 people. The national news agency reported a series of strikes on the ancient coastal city, beginning with a raid on a residential apartment in that particular area. Let's now bring you sports. Manchester United have sacked manager Erik ten Hag following the club's lackluster start to the season. The Premier League club had announced this on Monday. United dropped to a lowly 14th on the table after suffering their 4th defeat in 9 league games at West Ham on Sunday, and have won only one of their last 8 games in all competition. A statement by the club says Erik ten Hag had left his role as United manager, the first team. The 54-year-old position had been repeatedly called into question after United co-owner Jim Ratcliffe kept the former Ajax boss on board following an internal review of his position at the end of last season after an 8th-place Premier League finish. But we cannot go without telling you that, of course, the Ballon d'Or has been announced. Rodri from Man City has been announced as the winner of the Ballon d'Or. So you can see him there, super excited, beating the likes of Vinicius Jr. and the other gentlemen who are listed. But we must also call your attention to the fact that Ademola Lookman is the 14th best player, footballer in the world. So congratulations to Rodri on this particular win. Congratulations to all of the winners and the people that were listed, even in the female category.